Well, when I say I, you say conic. I.
Conic.
That was very. That's not the enthusiasm. Okay, we'll try again. When I say I, you say
comic. Conic.
No,
Con Air.
We're really.
What was I
really
supposed to
struggling.
say?
Really conic.
I know.
The reason I say that is because this is iconic for us.
Oh,
well, in the sense that we not only was Joker, the first Joker,
right,
in the, I'm going to say the infancy of the podcast.
Oh yeah.
But the first Joker was also one of the first films that you and I ever saw together.
Sure.
It was one of the first films that we, or new releases that we reviewed for the podcast.
Yeah, it was in the earlier, like we had Lion King, we had Spider-Man,
yes.
Far From Home, but this was pretty early on there.
This might have been the third one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And so it feels like this is we had no choice, right? This wasn't a, hey, should we review this film? Mm-hmm. It was, we have a duty to do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it got more and more interesting because it was like, well, it's going to be a musical. Lady Gaga is going to play Harley Quinn.
Sure.
And it was like, oh, okay. And then it got about as interesting as I think it could possibly get because all of the reviews started coming out for it, and it was just images of the nauseous emoji almost right across the board. Like everyone was just shitting all over this film. They're like, it's garbage. It is. At the time, I haven't checked. I'll have to check here in a sec. At the time, it had like a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes when I checked. A couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago. We're a little late reviewing it.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, like
what's going on?
This is something we need to talk about it. So I'm stoked. Hello and welcome.
Hello and welcome to the Movement Podcast. I am Joker and my partner is Joker 2. Oh, sorry, no, I'm Peter and my partner is Brady, and we're here to review Joker 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is, sorry, to answer the question that was already posed. This is one of the films where the audience and the critics agree. Same scores right across the board.
Interesting.
32%.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're here to talk a new review. I'd still say it's relatively hot off the press.
Sure. Well, I just saw it.
Much anticipated. Much, like you kind of built up to a movie that was never supposed to have a sequel, but a movie that, when announced, intrigued everyone. And the more we found out about it, of what, that it was a musical, that who was going to be in it, like the anticipation kept building and building. And so other than our interest as how it relates to our genesis of the show, the film world was intrigued.
I feel like we're getting caught up in fancy lingo and we should just do this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So I have initial impressions.
Sure.
But also I have a prediction.
Okay.
And my prediction is, because Brianne asked me, and I hadn't really thought of it until she asked me last night. She said, what do you think Pete thought of it? Because Brianne has not seen it, right? I came home and she asked me, and I gave her sort of a non-spoiler impression of what I thought, and she said, what do you think Pete will think? And I answered, and I stand by my answer, and it is my prediction.
Yeah.
I said, I think he probably, I don't know if he liked it, but I think he probably prefers it over the first. That's my prediction. And we'll see. We'll see whether or not I know you as well as I would hope I know you after all this time.
Sure.
Or if I need to turn in my friend card. Okay. Initial impressions. I'm a big DC guy. Big Batman guy specifically. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I'm a big Batman guy. I'm not a big DC guy. I'm a big Batman guy.
Yeah.
And the Joker is obviously one of Batman's. It is the Batman villain. It is his arch nemesis. It is the Lex Luthor to his Superman. It is the Green Goblin to his Spider-Man. And so this movie's got me written all over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a massive Joaquin Phoenix fan. Like this is got me, you know, if I were to be sold as an action figure, a little plastic copy of the first film would be an accessory that came with it. Now, it's not as good as the first one. It is it doesn't have any. One of the beautiful things about the first film is that it had a lot to say. Right? Whether it made you uncomfortable or not, the first film was a film with a message. It was a film that had something it wanted to tell you. This film doesn't have anything to say. Right? It's not a really smart commentary on mental health. It's not it's none of those things.
Yeah.
It has nothing to say. The music I'm of two minds about. We'll get into that. And I mean, I feel like the big thing that everyone wants to know is, what did I think about the ending? I think I can see how what they ultimately did in the end is clever, except it's not. I can see how it was meant to be a fun twist, but I think ultimately it is a gigantic, massive middle finger to the fans. I think it's and I think it's in some ways it's pandering and giving into. I think it undoes. I think it makes both films irrelevant. I think it makes them not matter at all. And where the first film felt bold, it actually undoes some of that boldness, and it shows cowardice is not the right word, but like, you know, afraid to be its own thing and blaze its own path. And we'll get into that. That's a super long-winded, exaggerated.
No.
Initial impression. Well, I just recently gave Carl and I just recently challenged Carl and I to actually give like 20-second bare bones initial impressions, because that's how it started. That's true. You know, we were kind of like, okay, in 3 sentences or less, right. What do you think?
One breath.
And then we kind of, you know, we sort of started giving mini reviews as our initial impressions. And we're like, well, let me give you all this context and let me, you know, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I don't hate this film, but it's a hot mess.
Yeah, it's fair. I've been trying to think of what I think about this film. I've been trying to think of it from different lenses of just everyone's been giving it a bad review. I'm trying to view it from a new perspective. I have been trying to ask that question, which of these did I prefer more? And I think I maybe preferred Joker 2 more, but when I look at what Joker 1 accomplished, I clearly think Joker 1 is the better film. And we said this 5 years ago. I was traumatized when we were recording that episode. I said, This was a really good movie. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't for me. But it was a really, really well done movie.
Well, and I actually just because I saw this movie with my mom. And so I recently told the story. We were walking out of the theater and you said, I think it was really good. I don't ever need to watch it again.
Yeah.
I'm never going to watch that again. but it's a good movie.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people have that. Like, I don't think you're alone in that.
No.
I think a lot of people went, this is, same thing with like Schindler's List, right?
Yes.
A lot of people go, oh, it's a
Yeah.
masterpiece.
But-
I'm never watching that again.
Exactly. What I think in a nutshell, at least these are my initial impressions when I walked out of the theater. I thought, wow, great two actors, great two lead actors, great two lead performances, but just a poorly laid out story. And I think it lacked direction, it lacked pace, it lacked movement. I'm not proud to say this, but I was sitting in the movie theater, and at a couple points, because of the movie, I looked down at my phone 2 or 3 different times going, how much longer is this? And like,
interesting.
I was maybe only like halfway through the movie. It just, for me, the lack of direction gave it some pacing issues for me. And I didn't know how to describe it, and I think you hit it on the head. At first, I thought it was a bit of a redundant story, almost like a reliving the greatest hits of number one, where you're reliving it through a trial, a courtroom drama. And I think what I had problems with is that it didn't seem to bring anything new to life that we've seen. And I think it would have been interesting if they dove into it a little bit more and brought new life to different things. And I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it undid some things for the character and the story that was shown in number one, and they kind of receded it a little bit. So I middle of the courtroom drama, I was looking at my phone. I was going, well, how much more of this is there? I do think there's some good things. There's some well done things. We'll get to them later. It's not all bad. But I do think it's a big opportunity lost with the fact that you convinced Joaquin Phoenix, or, you got to have a sequel. You included Lady Gaga and you made it a musical. I mean, to me, that's the mixture for you need to execute, and they didn't quite do that. And I'll end on this. Yeah, the ending you talked about, we'll have to unpack. I just look at how sharp number one was, where you look at the stairway sequence, like you have these elements and story elements building to a head, and then they just explode in number one, of the stairway sequence or the revelation with the neighbor lady, all these different things that just, there's a purpose, they come to a head, and you go, filmmaking 101, oh my gosh, what did they do? In number two, there was just all these things that really just kind of fizzled out, and it's unfortunate that I really thought, is Lady Gaga going to be imaginary? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? And really, it was just not consequential. And I think, in summary, you hit it on the head. It really undid some things from number one.
Okay, this is too much of a review. That's your initial impression.
Yeah.
Is that it undid things from number one.
Yeah.
Okay. We should touch on something that you said. Well, first of all, we should say, because I don't think we've spoiled anything yet.
Not yet, but we will. We should.
So, yes, we're going to spoil the shit out of this film. This disclaimer, if we have dropped the ball continuously with anything on this podcast, it is to deliver that disclaimer. Now, I don't think anyone clicks on these episodes thinking, oh, this will be an hour and a half of beating around the bush.
Right.
But
Joaquin
we're going
Phoenix
to spoil
does.
the shit out of this. We're going to assume you've seen this.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix is dead. Not him, his character.
His character.
Yeah.
They killed him. Yeah. But before we get into that.
Sure. Yeah.
You said something that I think is worth springboarding off of.
Okay.
There is nothing wrong with the performances in this.
No.
Joaquin Phoenix is as wonderful as ever.
Yeah.
I think he maybe is even thinner than he was. Like, I think he
gosh,
got even more skin and bones. You see like his shoulder blades popping out of his back.
Good gosh.
So the dedication from him, he's fantastic in the role. I have said it before and I'll say it again. Not only is she a musical, not tyrant, titan is what I meant. It is the slightly less offensive T word I'm thinking of. She's an incredible actor. Incredible.
Yeah.
She really, really, really is. Like, I love her in A Star Is Born.
Sure.
There was that Gucci film, which was garbage, but she was good in it.
Oh, okay.
And she's great in this, right? Yet nobody in this film, what is it, Brendan Gleeson? Right? Mad Eye Moody and whoever else who plays the sort of the most prominent Arkham guard in this. He's great. The guy that plays Harvey Dent in this is great.
Yep.
Right? Everyone's great. I think it's just a bunch of great performances set against a shitty story.
Yeah.
You know.
What I was expecting in this was honestly a similar toned story, obviously. Like, I wasn't expecting anything different that way. I think what I was expecting was a similarly dark story, a haunting story, because that's what we got in number one. Like, I was petrified. I was expecting that, but I was expecting maybe a bit of escapism in the musical numbers, where whatever story you're going to thread together with these musical numbers, you maybe get a glimmer of sunshine here, you get some escapism there, and then when the song's done, things come crashing down and it's brought back to earth, it's brought back to depressing reality. And that wasn't the case. Like, some of these songs are pretty dark, but I found that, and that's okay, I don't have a problem that it didn't turn out the way I was anticipating or was hoping. But I feel that also the musical numbers had some lack of connective tissue. And I guess that ties to the story that we saw.
Yeah,
but
so
the musical numbers are well done. They just don't really have a connective aspect.
And here's the thing, and I agree entirely. And the way I've been describing it to people, in a vacuum, all of the musical numbers are fantastic. Fantastic.
Yep.
They're fun. They're whimsical. They are, I will forever, say what you will about this film, I will forever point to this film as my example, or one of my examples, when facing someone with the bullshit argument that it's not reasonable to expect the singing in a musical to be believable. So an example is a couple months back, we sat like back to back with Brienne's sibling.
Nice.
Her siblings and one of her siblings' boyfriends, and there's a whole cast of characters there. Yeah. But we watched the high. I had never seen the High School Musical movies. I was a little too old, or I was, or if I wasn't old, I just didn't care.
Want to, yeah.
Right. But we sat and we watched all the High School Musical movies, and the one thing, okay, not the one thing. One of the things that I found wrong about the High School Musical movies is that they took the musical approach where the second a song started, it was clear, like, it was like, well, did you even try to line your lips up with the words? And it was lip syncing, and it was poorly lip synced, and the audio changed drastically because, all of a sudden it was a highly produced song that was done in a studio, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
In this film, much like the other Joaquin Phoenix musical, Walk the Line, much like Sweeney Todd, much like so many other musicals, much like Sound of Music, I buy that they're singing.
Sure.
The right muscles in the neck are being stretched, and the veins that should be popping are popping, and the Adam's apples are moving, and furthermore, the vocals in the songs have been EQ'd and processed in a way that reflects the environment that they're in. The vocals in the song sound different if he's singing inside, if he's singing in a jail cell, if he's singing wherever. Like, it feels real world.
Right. Yep.
But yes, in a vacuum, these songs are all great. Really great. A lot of fun.
I personally, a lot of them I will never listen to again, but it really got on a strong foot for me. Joaquin Phoenix singing For Once in My Life. I honestly, that was incredible. I thought that was, that set me off on a tone where I thought this is where the musical numbers were going to take us. Not only was it his performance, but this kind of escapism where he's finally transported from his depressing state before. He's jumped out of it. He's refreshed. He's renewed. It's reflecting his tone, and then it comes crashing down when you realize it was just a complete daydream. That for me, I'm like, that's exactly what I'm kind of expecting this movie to be, and the quality of the music was there, and there were elements like that I enjoyed. I loved like Lady Gaga singing That's Entertainment, just pure cinema, pure cinema. And
when she's dancing around out front of the courthouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know this isn't a musical number, but there was the musical sequences of number one as well, where you've got like, I forget who performs it, but the rock and roll song playing on the stairway. Frank Sinatra.
Gary Glitter.
Yes. Frank Sinatra's That's Life in the opening sequence where, they brighten up the color palette when he's walking around to this musical tone, and then they adjust it and it gets pretty dark and dreary by the end of that rendition. There were some musical numbers that were really well done.
Yeah.
And
but they're jarring.
Yeah.
And every time, not every time, there are a couple of songs that connect in well. Like the first real musical number where someone asks Arthur a question and then he starts singing and dancing around the TV room.
For Once in My Life. Yeah.
Yeah, For Once in My Life. And then snaps back and you realize that was all in his head.
Oh.
That fits really well.
Yes.
But there are some songs that are jarring, and all of a sudden you just feel like, okay, let's pause. I guess we're pausing the story for the next 3.5 minutes so that we can do this musical number.
Right.
And then we come back to it. The other one that like borders on jarring, but ultimately I liked what I thought they were doing.
Okay.
Which is the one where, like, the song that ends with him, it happens while he's in the courtroom.
Oh.
And the song ends with him. It's like his snapping moment is like, okay,
yeah.
I am going to let the Joker run.
Yeah.
And it ends with Joker kind of pulling the gun on his own head.
Oh.
And then he comes out of the song and he's like, and he fires his lawyer. And and it feels like this, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah, this is where,
moment.
Yeah.
This is when, here's the thing.
Sure.
I thought, and I'm sorry, this is a little bit of a divergent, but
Sure.
it's one of my big issues with the film, and I feel like I need to get it out there because otherwise everything we talk about is going to be me dancing around this fact.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know how we talk about this without talking about the end of the film. Like this is sort of like the discussion of the film for me.
Let's get into it. Let's do it.
The first movie ends.
Sure.
And well, let's just say it. Let's just say, okay, the ending of this film is Arthur Fleck loses Harley Quinn as his girlfriend because he has this moment where he's in over his head in court and giving his closing arguments or his closing defense. He admits, I'm not the Joker. I've never been Joker. I'm just Arthur Fleck. I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. I'm just a bad person. And I've done bad things. And And then what happens is he's sitting back in the asylum. He gets caught. You know, he escapes. And we'll talk about that. He escapes, and then he's back in the asylum. And, you know, one of the guards comes and says, "Hey, Fleck, you got a visitor." Right? And he gets up and he walks down this hallway. And this guy who we've seen, who's been bumming around the asylum, and who I thought... And I called this, unfortunately, I was right. There was a moment where you see him sitting at the back of the room. It's one of those everyone's watching TV sequences. And he's sitting back of the room and he's got this like unholy, devilish grin on his face. And I'm like, well, that's a very Joker grin. Right? Like that's... I wonder if they're going to do a switcheroo. And this guy, it turns out Arthur has no visitor, right? The guard is luring him into the hallway, where apparently there are no cameras, so that this other inmate can stab him to death. And does it with a joke. Stabs him to death. We see Arthur die, and then in the background, obscured by blurriness, depth of field blurriness, we see this other guy who's laughing take the same knife that he stabbed Arthur with, and he carves a smile into his face. And Todd Phillips, the director, has done a couple of interviews now where he said Arthur Fleck was never, even when we made the first film, Arthur Fleck was never the Joker. He was never the Joker. And so, yeah, and so the implications of the ending of this film is that Arthur Fleck is not the Joker. He is the guy that existed in the 70s that ultimately inspires the guy that will go on to be Batman's arch nemesis.
He's the catalyst.
He's the catalyst. And what I don't like about this is that it makes the first film irrelevant.
Well,
Like all of a sudden, instead of being this story about how a real life person could actually, when it turns out his whole life is a lie and his mother's not even his mother, she's his adopted mother, and she's also a lunatic and kind of a piece of shit. Well, she is, right? Like she abused him and all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then
for the
funding.
record, I should have rewatched Joker 1 for just to have context into this, but I just didn't have the emotional fortitude, so.
And then all the funding for the social services that are providing his therapy and his meds when the funding gets cut for that. And he gets fired. And he. This is how this iconic villain that has always seemed larger than life has always had this degree of unrealistic unbelievability to him because, well, nobody's actually that crazy. It was a story about how it's not that far-fetched. These are the events that would transpire that would lead you there.
The realism gave a different context to that we've ever seen. You know, in the past you have to suspend your disbelief, but in this there was such a realism to it that it gives a new context to the whole story.
Yeah.
In number one.
And the moral of the ending of the second one is that guy's not the Joker. He was never the Joker. He's just the guy that planted an idea in the head of the lunatic who we don't know the background of. He just really is that effing crazy. And so nothing has been grounded for you. Right, like the first film might as well be a postcard with a picture of a clown on it stabbing some guy. And this lunatic would see that and he would go,
I want to be that.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Bats, right? It pisses me off that it undid everything.
Yeah.
But more to my point of the main thing that bothers me about this is that, when the first film ends, and there was always some debate, right? The debate was, well, did it all happen in his head? Did it actually happen?
Yeah.
Is he imagining all of this? Because there was just some big question. Is he actually the Joker? There was all this. It turns out no. But I always chose to believe that he was.
Sure.
And that the moment when he truly becomes, because there's this beautiful moment, because I just rewatched the first one like 4 freaking days ago. Mm-hmm. And there's this beautiful moment where Arthur Fleck, who's done these things, he's donned the makeup now, he's dyed his hair, he's wearing the suit, but he hasn't fully let himself become Joker yet. And there's this amazing moment where he's in the back of a cop car and the cop car gets T-boned by these guys that are trying to free Joker. And Joker, who's not wearing a seatbelt and has his face pressed up against the cage between the back seat and the front seat at the time, gets thrown about in the car to the point of unconsciousness. He's dragged out of the car and he's laid on the hood. Mm-hmm. Not lifeless, essentially. And I said to my mom, I said, Arthur Fleck is dead. And then he wakes up. And he wakes up and he stands on the hood of the car and he realizes that his gums, his mouth is bleeding, and he reaches his index finger and his middle finger of both hands into his mouth, covering them in blood, and he brings them out and drags them up either side of his face, creating a smile out of the blood. Surrounded by burning cars and people in clown masks there rooting for him and all this stuff. And I said, and now the Joker has been born. Right? Arthur Fleck. There is a very symbolic death of Arthur Fleck. That moment where he is reborn irreverently as the Joker. And so my thought, when you're like, okay, well, you're going to get a second one, is like, oh my God, here comes the chaos. He's somehow going to escape Arkham, and we're going to see not only just how sadistic and how awful this individual can be when he's let go of his conscience entirely, but we are going to see those actions without the juxtaposition of a Batman. Because Bruce Wayne's just a kid still.
Well, that's the other, like, it seems weird now that they've interacted and he truly wasn't the Joker, and it just makes that interaction far more hollow. When they had that interaction in the first film, where they're looking at each other, or at least they're within hand's reach of each other.
Yeah. And
then now it's just, nope, that was just some guy who literally got shanked and is not the Joker.
Well, and what I don't like, and that leads me, so anyways, I thought that in this film we were going to see real Joker.
Right.
And then it seemed like this film kicked off, and it wasn't until that musical number in the courtroom where it's like, okay, maybe now we're going to see that. Now he's Joker. Because it kind of feels like we take like 5 steps backwards, and he's back to being Arthur Fleck fighting with the idea, and then he's never actually Joker at the end. So none of it matters.
So I want to stop you here because seems a good segue for me to bring this up. You're bringing up a big point that's more big picture of where
Thank you for noticing.
Where you start and where we end with him, and how this undoes the first film. This is related, but it's more just about the faults of Joker 2. I think a problem that I had is it relates to this courtroom scene and Harley Quinn. I feel like I wanted a bit more background and depth with Harley Quinn. We get the initial picture, then we get the opposite picture of she's putting on a charade. It's this, she's a doctor's kid. She self set her up in this place she can check herself out when she wants. And it makes us second guess her motives to no payoff. So I think I have an issue, one, with Harley Quinn's interaction and her interaction with Joker in this. But as it relates to your courtroom scene, I think something I expected more out of this movie was less of the slow pace that it had for me. And I'm not going to have what I have written on my page, so you don't have to bleep it out. But I really was expecting this movie to be a movie of Joker and Harley Quinn effing shit up in the streets. And I really thought, like you said, in this musical sequence where he just kind of explodes, I went, okay, here we go. In the next 5 minutes, he's going to bust out and they're going to be dressed to the nines and they take their musical numbers to the streets. No more shackles, no more walls. They're just going to be living their life, and this is where this story explodes. And that never happened. It never happened. They obviously, the story went the way it went, and eventually she walked away. And I think that's just something that was a wasted opportunity for me, because you're talking about the aspects in this courtroom scene and then where he goes and it undoes his story. For me, it just seemed like a wasted point of, like, where are we going if we're not going to be telling the iconic story of Harley Quinn and Joker to their fullest. Instead, we're just going to be doing this thing where we don't know her true motivations. We have second guessing of her background, and they're not just fully effing shit up. And I have problems with that courtroom scene of where it really didn't escalate things. And I have issues where it just relates to those two. You have issues where it relates and kind of backs up stuff to him in the first film. And I think that's just how that relates. I don't know, man. That was one of my disappointments too. Like let the kids fly. Let the bird fly. You got Harley Quinn with a great actor. You got Joker with an actor. Let them have adventures. That's all I want.
Let them build a mountain.
Yes,
let's see it.
Truly, 100.
Let's see the crazy.
We've talked enough about this dang mountain. I want to see it.
Because, like, here's the thing. It's one, like, and this is one of those if you know kind of things.
Oh, pardon me.
It is one thing to want to see Joker go fully freaking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But, God, how bad do I want to see Joaquin Phoenix go full crazy? And to see Joaquin Phoenix go full crazy in the guise of the Joker. Like, it is just, I want it so bad. And yeah, I don't know. And we didn't get it, and we'll never get it. And
no,
the ending is like I said, or sort of alluded to at the start of this episode, it shows to me a lack of this is like the sexist way of saying it now, so I don't really want to say it like this, but I'm going to say it anyways for lack of a more intelligent way of saying it. Just an absolute lack of balls. In that, the first film was like, look, this is our own world. We're our own thing. We're not connected to anything. We're not a part of the DCEU. There's no, like, Batman's just a little kid. This is an Elseworld story.
Yeah.
And then to make this Arthur not the real Arthur, and to make the guy that's going to be the Joker some dude in his 20s, so that he's really not that much older than Bruce Wayne. Like, he's older, but by the time Bruce Wayne is 30 and fighting crime, this guy's 45 and the Joker. Right? Like, it's not this elaborate age difference. And for Todd Phillips, the director, to talk about, like, you know, we sort of teased in the first film that this may not be the real Joker. And he says one of the ways that we did that was the drastic age difference between Arthur Fleck and Bruce Wayne. This can't be Batman's Joker. And I'm like, oh, go to hell. Like, what do you... that didn't matter.
Right.
It didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And it still doesn't matter because I'm never going to see that kid turn into the Caped Crusader. I'm never going to see him fight Joker. So it doesn't matter.
No, this is another world. We can break the rules.
But you've abandoned your own set of ethics.
Yeah.
And have made it matter when it doesn't. And you've ruined not only this film, but the Academy Award-winning film that was the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God, it pisses me off. And here's the thing, right? I am, and I've talked about this 1,000 times, and everyone always conflates it. You conflaters. People say, well, you always say that, like, you know, it doesn't ruin the first one because... No, that's not what I said. Remakes don't ruin originals. Because remakes don't affect the original. The original's still there. The remake is a new continuity. It's a new thing. Take it or leave it. Accept it or don't. Sequels are entirely different. Sequels are entirely different because if a film is a direct follow-up or prequel to another film, if you're telling me this is the same universe, then you're telling me this is canon. And I can never now watch the first film without knowing, yeah, but he's not Joker. I mean, he's going to die in 3 weeks in prison. This guy's not Joker. Right? And so it pisses me off. It pisses me off because it ruined a masterpiece. Right? Sequels can ruin films. They can ruin canon. They can ruin franchises. But remakes can't. So that's just my little... Because people all the time, oh, you say it can't. No, shut up. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. This is a different argument. Because my mom said it the other night. She was like, well, you know, it doesn't ruin that. That's not what I said. Mom.
So, is there anything... Like, we've lamented on the bad things. What did we like?
I mean, the acting's great.
Sure.
The acting's great. The music's great. In a vacuum, all of the music is wonderful.
I liked the acting as well. I liked the musical numbers in a vacuum. Yep, that's fair. Some of them hit more than others, I will say. I've touched on that. I think the one thing it did as well as in the first one is it did continue with good visuals, with a good color palette. Whether it was musical sequences, whether it was just walking down and how they used umbrellas on a dreary day, sunshine on a sunny, you know, like the visuals were still there, like it was in number one.
Yep. Yeah, every shot in this film. This is something I said to Brienne too. The cinematography is incredible. Every single shot in this film is a painting, is a masterpiece. It's beautiful. Beautiful movie. Visually.
I would say, I don't know if I would tie this in with the acting or a story element, or I guess both. Probably more of a story element that, you know, it lacked new perspective. Just seemed like we were rehashing a lot of things, and it lacked connective tissue. But one story element that, you know, when you have his old acquaintance giving a testimony, and it was such a human moment where I forget the character's name, but where he realized...
Puddles? Mr. Puddles?
Yes. Like the PTSD...
Gary Puddles.
Puddles. That's right, because
The
Joaquin
little
Phoenix
guy,
has
the little person.
puddles written all over his page. just the human element of just he has PTSD now. He never feared Arthur before, and now he's petrified of him, and he's been scarred from this event where Arthur didn't want to hurt him. No. And he said, you're the one guy who's been nice to me. I'm not going to touch you. But I said I
wouldn't hurt you, and I didn't.
Yeah, but still, as a result, this guy has emotional issues that he still hasn't recovered from, may never recover from. And I thought that was such an interesting angle to cut from. And unfortunately, this is, one of the few, there weren't a lot of examples of this enriching story elements. But this is an example of something where you go, we're going to revisit and talk about something that's already established, but we're going to bring new life to it, and it'll add depth to our characters. It'll add depth to the events that have happened before, and it makes us view it from a different lens. And I thought that was a well done scene.
Did you, speaking of the courtroom stuff, oh, and by the way, I mean, this is as a result of this, the whole, like, Arthur's having the verdict read to him, and then the friggin' wall explodes. And and by the way, talk about convenient plot devices. No explanation, right? Like, when the wall first explodes, I'm like, holy shit! What did Harley Quinn? Yes. What did Harley Quinn do? It wasn't her, right? Like, I mean, I guess it was the people outside. It was the Joker empathizers. It was the Joker enthusiasts. It was those that shall be named belongers of the religion of Joker. But it's like, literally, we don't touch on that at all. Just the wall explodes to get him out of a spot of trouble.
Yeah.
But as a result of the wall exploding, did you catch the Two-Face thing?
No. Oh, yes. Yes.
So Harvey Dent,
who's
the district attorney, who is obviously the alter ego of Two-Face,
yep.
As the camera's panning across and you see all the carnage from the explosion, you see that the left side of Harvey Dent's face is all burnt and scarred to shit.
But actually, the director came out and said that's actually not Two-Face. It's someone is actually going to come in and stab him and become Two-Face.
It's just inspiring. I was hook, line, and sinker with you for a second, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? No, and I mean...
And that wasn't Harley Quinn either. In a deleted scene, she gets hit by a bus, and someone else decides to become Harley Quinn.
Sure, yeah. But here's the thing. I don't know. Well, and that's a weird thing, too. Here's the thing. This movie seems to, like, with the whole, well, we need a Joker that's closer to the age of Batman so that he's not in his 80s when Batman's fighting crime. Which feels like we need to tie it to Batman thing. So does the Two-Face thing, right? In this, like, well, we need to establish that there's a rogues gallery. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess. Like, it was just a fun nod having... It makes sense that Harvey Dent is the district attorney in Gotham. You don't need to show us his origin. Right? Like, that wasn't necessary. And the fact that, like, you're not... I get that you're not as, you don't need a change of panties when there's a Batman reference the way that I do. So maybe this is an issue for you and maybe it's not. But it's also weird to me that there's a Harley Quinn who's 20 years older than Batman. Right? Or 15 years older than Batman or whatever. Like, for all of their attempts, unnecessary attempts to try to tie this into the Batman mythos, into the story that we all know, it also still fails. Like, it does something that wasn't necessary and that I wish it hadn't tried to do, but it still failed at it. Like, it still made a mess of things.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I think, here's the thing. If this film, we need to add, Marshall, if you're listening, you need to add, here's the thing, to Movie Men Bingo.
Right.
If not for the reveal at the end of he's not actually Joker, I think I like this film a lot more. Right? If not for his whole, I'm not, well, and really, I mean, I guess that also includes his revelation in court that he's not Joker. Right? I would have rather him have been Joker, and the wall can still explode. It doesn't need to be Harley Quinn. Maybe let us, show us the criminals outside planting the explosives or whatever. Well, maybe not, because it is a fun surprise. It's a shocking moment when the wall explodes. Mm-hmm. So maybe don't spoil that surprise, but do something, right? Show the criminals running away afterwards or whatever it is. And show, that Joker, that it was a guilty verdict, but Joker escapes, and him and Harley go off to do whatever. Because we also, like, the closure for Harley's character, she walks up the steps. Okay, bye. Bye, we'll see you later. Thanks for being in this movie. Don't worry, the idea that you're infatuated with, not the man. You don't give two shits about the man.
Emotionally gut punching is a scene, but yeah.
Yeah, but the idea that you're infatuated with, don't worry, because that will live on in some creep that's currently in the asylum, and at some point, he will abuse you. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. What else? What did you really like?
I've gone over the things, yeah. The cinematography, some songs early on captured my interest, and I thought, here we go. And it didn't quite continue, but some musical numbers. We've hit on the things I liked, honestly. Cinematography. I think we've hit on most of the things. Is there anything else that you thought was well done?
Hey, sorry, my microphone is falling off the table here. You still there?
No joking. No joking matter there.
Yeah, no. Give me a sec here. I need a different table or some sort of different setup for this.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe. Gosh, I've never had. No, it's still loose. I've never had an issue with it. Carl has an issue with his all the time. Okay, hang on.
Okay.
Okay. It is sorted out.
Okay.
No, I think that's it. I mean, like I said at the beginning, there are a lot of elements of this film I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of fun moments. A lot of those fun moments circle around some of the music.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, those fun moments are all moments in what is ultimately a hot mess. It is. It's a hot mess of a movie.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah. You ready? You ready? You ready to rank this?
I think so.
It's not, it's not necessarily a piece of crap. On a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rank Joker Folie à Deux?
Ugh, I'm having trouble. It's somewhere between a 4 and a 5 for me. I'm trying to decide, is it bad or is it just meh? Let me chew on it for a second. What do you give it out of 10? That might help sway me.
Whoa. Whoa. This is not how we do things. I think I'm going to give it a... I was going to give it a 5.5. That was where I had sort of been the last couple of days thinking about it. But then I'm like, can you give something a 5.5 if it effectively ruins the first movie? If it destroys 2 films?
That's the question. Is it bad or is it good? Or is it, sorry, it's not good. Is it bad or is it meh? I think I'll give mine a 4 if that sways you. I think it's, I think I can clearly say it's not above average.
I think it does sway me.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 3.5.
What? That's a huge sway.
Yeah. There are some great moments.
Yeah.
There's all of the performances are great. But I don't think you can be forgiven because here's the thing. I'm like, is it good? No. Is it meh? No. Is it a little bit subpar? I mean, there's an element of this film. And if it was a small element, like a small doesn't matter whatever element, then I think it would be less impactful on the final score. But there is a crucial element, a franchise-changing element about this film that is actively bad. So 3.5.
Fair.
Yeah, wildly disappointed.
Yeah.
Wildly. Not in the whole film, just in the end.
Yeah. Well,
and like a couple of moments, but like specifically in the end. And so much so that yeah. Listen, before I ask you what you watched this week, I got to tell you a story.
Sure.
I had been complaining about, and I don't think I've complained about it on the podcast yet.
I think there's a chance.
But my knee was bothering me.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah. And I messaged you the other night. I was like, hey, I'm going to the hospital. My knee hurts. Yeah. Yeah.
It sucks.
I have severely torn my meniscus.
Oh.
I'm wearing a knee brace.
Oh.
I am awaiting an MRI.
Oh.
Which I've been told will take on average about 2 months to get.
Oh.
And then the doctor said, hey, anything's possible. That MRI could come back. And it's not a big deal. But I'm telling you right now, there's a 95% chance that as soon as you get that MRI, you're going to need surgery.
Oh.
Yeah, knee surgery in my early 30s.
And correct me
that
if I'm...
bodes ill.
It kind of came as a surprise. Like, it wasn't like, ooh, I did this and it hurt. Like, you just kind of randomly one day were like, this isn't fun.
Yeah. Well, because the doctor asked me, he's like, so how did you do this? And I said, well, saving orphans. But honestly, I said, my best guess is sleeping. And I said, I know that sounds like I'm like a total pain, but I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's just one morning. I woke up one morning and I was like, oh, my knee's a little sore.
Yeah.
You know what I think it could be? Like, the best thing that I've kind of narrowed it down to is about 2 weeks before it started hurting, I went 2 or 3 nights in the course of like a week and a half to play pickleball. And I had never played pickleball before.
Did you?
And I don't do a ton of sports. So it was like, it was a lot more activity and stretching and moving of some of those muscles than I typically normally do.
Right.
But I didn't hurt myself during pickleball. Like I didn't walk away from pickleball sore. But I'm wondering, because what the doctor said was like, here's the thing about a meniscus tear. You can tear your meniscus and it be a super minor tear. And then there's a severe tear, which is when it's a centimeter or greater. And it's at that point that you need surgery. But it's also at that point that you start to feel pain or discomfort. So by the time you feel pain or discomfort, you're pretty much already into the surgery territory.
Dang.
And so I'm wondering if I did something like super minor playing pickleball.
Right.
And then 2 weeks of, whatever, wear and tear.
Yeah.
Just aggravated it and furthered that tear to the point that I'm now decrepit. So yeah, I need surgery.
Oh, man.
And I look, it's a guess. But if it takes 2 months to get into an MRI and then I can schedule surgery, and that surgery is something as non-emergent as, Willie's got a sore knee.
Right.
This could be 6 months at least.
Yeah.
At least. So,
man, that's brutal.
Fun times.
Good times.
Yeah. So it's if anyone's looking to have me help them move,
no thanks.
go screw yourselves, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's the worst thing is like the knee brace helps, but it's also like not super comfortable to wear, right? Like it's not comfortable to wear this knee brace. But it like, it prevents my knee from like locking up on me, or seems to prevent it somewhat. For those who don't know, it turns out your meniscus, because I didn't know either, your meniscus
I feel like
is this cushiony piece of cartilage that serves as a buffer to prevent the knees in your bones from rubbing on each other. And mine is not preventing the rubbing.
The movie Men Meniscus podcast.
Yes. Sorry. Well, it was where, everyone's going to go, well, okay, now I have to Google meniscus. Is that with 2 eyes or an I and an E? right? No, but it sucks, right? Like it's my bones. When I bend my knee, I feel things popping out the side of my knee that ought not to pop out.
Yeah.
So it sucks. What'd you watch this week?
I've only watched one thing, but it's kind of relevant. I watched Grumpy Old Men 2. No. The Odd Couple 2. Sorry. The Odd Couple 2.
Do 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 do. And does it now make sense to you that one of my cat's names is Oscar?
Not at all.
When we started the podcast, my other cat's name is Felix.
Oh, yes. Sorry. It makes sense in that way. I was going to say it doesn't make sense. Like your cat doesn't seem like a grouch or a neurotic. So, you know.
Oh no, but he's a slob and a dick. So. My current cat is a slob and a dick. My other cat wasn't neurotic, but he was a tuxedo cat. And so he was proper. He was clean. There was an elegance about him.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 10. You know, it's a movie I had seen ages ago. Love the
It's fun. It's not great.
It's not great. It has some fun moments. The pair are great. I'm not going to talk much about it because you and Carl just reviewed it. It's a good episode. Check it out. Thought the pair is just a lot of fun. There's some heartwarming moments, especially when Walt, I forget their names, but the one has that scene where, you know, he wakes up and he forgets where he is. And it's, you know, there's this connection that they have. And they're going to a wedding and they feel emotional things because they're human. So there's some good parts, there's some funny parts, but I give it a 5 out of 10. It's average at best, not the best work of that those two have been a part of. What did you watch this week?
Well, I mean, so my mom and I watched Joker. It was her first time watching it. Like the first one. She loved it. Like she was like, her jaw was on the floor the whole time. She thought it was incredible.
Jeez.
She also really liked the second one.
Okay.
So, which is fine. I mean, all film's subjective. She's wrong and senile, but it's still. I'm glad she liked it. We finished rewatching. Brianne and I finished rewatching season 1 of Rings of Power, so that she could watch season 2. We're about halfway through season 2. This is my second watching of season 2 now.
Sure.
Because I already watched it without her. Bad boyfriend. But I'm excited to talk Rings of Power with you.
Yeah.
When we get around to doing that. Did you not watch anything else? We're still watching House.
Nice.
We're into the 7th out of 8 seasons.
Oh, wow.
So we're nearing the end.
Yeah.
And the serious discussions are active about what will the next show be. Did I watch anything else? I don't think I watched anything else. No, Brianne and I are talking also very seriously about, like, every October for the last couple of years, we've like taken on a horror franchise.
Oh, jeez.
Right? Like one year we did all of Alien. One year we watched a bunch of the Halloween movies. 1 year was when we discovered and barreled through the Scream films. And we're like halfway through October, more than halfway through October. And we're like, what are we going to do? We haven't, like, what's the hell? So I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. It's got to be something at this point, because whatever it is, we're going to watch, like, the franchise. And so it's got to be something that's like, maybe there were only 3 or 4 entries.
Yeah.
Maybe Insidious.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think there's like 4 or 5
Sure.
of them. Same with Paranormal Activity. Like there's 6?
Yeah, there's a few.
6 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But you know, like we couldn't take on Friday the 13th
No.
at this point.
No.
Or, you know, James Bond. God, I can't believe we watched all those.
Yep. We sure did.
Like, yes, we've done over 400 episodes of this podcast, but at even at over 400 episodes, the number of episodes that are James Bond films is a measurable percentage.
It's true.
Like, that's gross. Wow.
Almost. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, wrap it up, sir.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for checking us out. Check out our socials below. Like, follow, subscribe anywhere you can. Check out our Patreon page, our merchandise page. We're at the Movie Man Podcast. Check us out. We love hearing back from you. What did you think about Joker 2? And stay tuned for more upcoming episodes. We've got our Halloween episode coming up around the corner. We've got more Planet of the Apes upcoming. We'll have Rings of Power upcoming. And just stay tuned. Just stay tuned.
Do you remember the other day when you said that my mom is very like there's a lot of similarities between her and I?
Mm-hmm.
She just sent me a message.
Nice.
And I feel like reading this message out loud is a perfect way to end this podcast.
Okay.
She said, people have no sense of humor anymore. Got my flu shot today. Came out and said into the ear of the lady waiting next, stuck it right in my ass. She looked at me like I was nuts.
Okay.
She's and you scoffed when I said she was senile. You scoffed. Retract that, sir. Retract it.